what we doing. It's the new movement.
Yes, this house is not for sale. Your podcast of conversations around African hip hop. I am your host Salam J, and my co-host
FC.
Hezzy. How are you? How have you been today?
I am good today. Today I went to church, obviously. And then we had some family around because we had a baby dedication. So it's been a family-filled day. But good day. How was yours?
My week has been stressful because I was supposed to have traveled, and for some reason I'm still here. I didn't think that to be fully vaccinated, you needed to do like a PCR test to be in Ghana. I thought you could probably just do the antigen test and it should be fine. So apparently you have to do a PCR test, get on the plane, same day that you land, you do another test, pay $50 for that test, and that test, the $50 for that test is actually the antigen test, not a PCR test, before you enter your own country. So I had to let my flights go and figure out how to get another one. And then, so yeah, it's been stressful, but it's all good. We're here recording another podcast.
Exactly.
And we have one of our favorites on this episode. A living legend, I would like to call him. He is Mensa, one half of the fucking boys, the FOKN boys. He comes from a very creative family. His dad, Mensa Ansah, is a member of Osibisa band. His uncle is a great filmmaker, Eko Ansah. I mean, the list goes on. He's been doing music for over 2 decades, I believe. I know him from Lifeline family as Uncle Shine. They gave us some classics back then. He produced a whole project for Reggie Rockstone. He did amazing collaborations with Reggie Rockstone. Years on, he became he became a major collaborator with One Love as the FOKM boys. He gave us number one Mango Street at some point. That was a classic. And for some reason, we were not hearing from him in a while. In terms of having like a solo project, just like number one Mango Street. And now, after 10 years, I believe, after number one Mango Street, he's back again with a new project called Bondzie. I don't know if I'm mentioning it right, Bondzie.
Yes.
So we are here to talk to Mensa about Bondzie, and some of the conversations that were had on that project. Uncle Shine. How are you today, Uncle Shine?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Long day. But it's been a very productive day, so it's good. I had family around, so it's been good, yeah.
Great. And we are glad that you honored our invitation to have this conversation.
Oh, how could I not? You guys have always been quite instrumental, both in the support and just propagating the work that I've been doing, and also with everything that you do is so inspiring that it's an opportunity. The opportunity and the honor is also mine. So anytime you need me, just holler.
Vim.
Be like some low, sexy voice to come inside.
No, be like fatigue just kicking. So I did try. He's fatigue. So I'm chewing groundnuts. Can I chew groundnuts while we are doing the show?
I mean, you can if you want.
You can.
Yeah, but you hear grow in the distance.
Exactly. You can if you want.
I'll chew it romantically, so you hear it too.
I hear.
Anything that makes you comfortable.
Okay, cool. It gives me energy.
I feel like you don't.
So, yeah.
Okay, good. We need that for the podcast.
Okay.
I feel like you don't like interviews. Have I just taking that out of nowhere, or I get a vibe from you that you don't really like interviews?
Yeah, I mean, I generally don't like people.
I see. Like,
So
what type of people? All people.
yeah, people.
I see.
So interviews mean that I have to meet people. Usually, I mean, sometimes having interviews with people I don't know, even me, it gives me, like, I get anxiety, like, how's this going to go? Because I feel like to have a good interview, you have to, it's about trying to form the quickest rapport or a connection or kind of chemistry. You have to, that's if you can't build that in the first 10 minutes, it determines the trajectory of the entire conversation, but then that means that I have to meet a person or people, and that's like defeats the purpose. No, but like, I get nervous, I get nervous with interviews.
Okay,
I just don't know how it's gonna go. That's all it is, but I think I also overthink it. So once it's like I meet somebody who's lovely and just like we can just bounce off each other, then it's good. But it's just like the idea of
Well, how are we doing so far?
you guys are my family, so it's normal. I'm just come to just look how I'm sitting.
Okay, good.
Good.
I guess
So
I just wanted to ask him, how have you been this year? How, like, truly, how are you?
My God, man! I mean, this is such a weighted question. It was a mountain of a question. I haven't stopped. I really haven't stopped. And a lot of good things have happened. I'm aware at the back of my mind. I'm making notes and registering that I've been like I've had a lot of good people around me. I've worked with some of the most incredible people. I've been able to achieve so much. I mean, the album, what with the we forget the the Kickstarter was this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then just like coming out of the pandemic and then going deep into like 3 months of like an intensive tour, which actually went really well because as a band also with F4K Boys, we were playing really well, which is like something that I've been working towards, like really rebuilding the way that we kind of translated the music live. All these things are like pluses, but it's also taken its toll on me, and what with the family life and the kids and a lot of traveling and the Kickstarter itself really it was a lot. I wouldn't recommend anybody doing a Kickstarter raising. It's a lot. It takes and just people management and just managing my affairs and so on and so forth. It's been a lot,
Right.
but then again, it's like I feel very alive in the same sense. So I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, it's been full.
It does. I wanted to ask that because I know you've had a hard time over the past year. You took a social media break as well for a bit. And I remember when I first saw the video, I was like, oh, like that's quite deep. I don't think I've ever seen you, like, especially on social media, talk so openly about how you're feeling mentally. Like, what led you to that? Obviously, we're all in a pandemic, so it was tough, but what led you to that point?
I mean, I think it was part of the whole resetting process, What the pandemic did for a lot of us is that it forced us to just stop whatever you're doing,
Right.
And for me, it hit me in a way that I had to start asking myself questions like, okay, now that I've stopped, what am I going to do? Who am I? What is it that I've been running away from? And, looking at my affairs, both personally, internally, professionally, spiritually even, and just like even my relationships with people and whatnot. It's just like I had all the time on my hands to address every single thing, And so it was quite overwhelming. And I think we all know that what social media has become is that it allows us to escape our realities and just like enter this metaverse, and just thrive in
Literally.
that space. And then, you know what I mean? And then you come back and it's like, oh, wow, 2 hours gone just like that now, and everything is still here. So I really had to stop and just reassess everything. Who am I if I'm not allowed to go out traveling, running away from my problems? I'm playing concerts, but now I can't do that. I can't, meet my friends, family. I can't perform. I can't go into the studios. I can't, like, you just have to stop and just start looking at the mess around you. Finally, you have to look at things around you and be like, okay, I need to find myself, a broom and brush and sponges and start cleaning, metaphorically, start, putting things in order. I have to say though that and then also the pandemic, what with COVID, is that people I knew real people who have been like affected quite adversely. Like I lost at least 10 people that I know died. People that I'm close to, yeah,
Oh
like
my
and fellow
god.
musicians, friends, family members, my first cousin's husband. It's like it was really real.
Right. Right.
And so it was also dealing with all
Grief.
of that, and also, if I'm being really candid, I'd spent a lot of years, just building fucking boys and getting it to a place where, together with One Love, and getting to a place where it's highly functional, fairly successful, and so on and so forth. And I felt that I was neglecting myself, like my personal affairs. And so I had to take care of that, and it was a difficult conversation also to have with the boys and be like, guys, it's like I've committed my life literally
Right.
to what we do,
Right.
but I've reached a
Right.
point where it's like if I don't feel fulfilled as an individual, I can't give any more to this band,
Wow.
and so
Right.
if do you know what I mean? And it's like so if we don't allow for me to get my affairs together, find my peace, and quell all the little fires, I can't give to the band and give to myself in the band in a way that is beneficial for anybody,
Right.
And
Right.
so those are like
Right.
it was just like a lot of difficult conversations that I had to have as well. So that was what that was about, and taking some time off, and that sorry, I'm giving long answers, but
No, no, that's good.
No, no, it's fine. It's fine.
It's a
so
It's
podcast.
fine.
We
yeah,
have
yeah,
time.
yeah. So that just that time off also meant that didn't mean that I had I was just laying in bed and just like resting and so on and so forth. I was really getting my affairs together, resetting and planning, and what with my new little setup and just my business, getting things ready so that when I re-emerged, I was giving something more substantial and more wholesome, So yeah, that's really what. And I have to say, like, this is the point I wanted to make. Like, as much as like there was a lot of madness and death and illness and just depressions and mental health issues, if you looked beyond all of that, this pandemic really afforded quite a few of us to do something really special with our lives. And I have to raise my hand when it comes to that. It's like
Right.
a lot of
Right.
people have come out the other side a bit more centered and a bit more aware and a bit more appreciative of
Right.
things. And that, yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
I'm one of those people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very, very true. Even for myself, I had to do a lot of reflections and ask questions, about what I'm doing, how far I've come,
Yeah.
sometimes I think that's what you try to express on your song Losses.
Mm.
You put in hours, and it's like, I mean, people keep telling you that you need to be consistent, you need to put in the work,
Yeah.
but sometimes we go full circle on all those things,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we still don't see anything happening,
Yeah.
So I think that like you said, COVID gave us time to reflect and ask questions, re-strategize, and see what we are doing. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So there was some lights in the darkness. I would say, you know,
Yeah.
and so my question will be: was it at this point, with all that you said, was it at this point that you discovered Bonzi, and what's the true meaning of Bonzi?
Well, so I mean, I've been like like I've been saying to other interviewers, I've been working on Bonzi for about 3 hours, 3 years now.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because
I
I
actually,
remember
I
you
actually,
told me in 2018 that you
yeah,
were working on a
yeah. There's
Mensa
working on my
album.
yeah.
Yeah.
I actually stopped. Not that I stopped, but I kind of paused it a little bit and finished the FOKM Boys album. So I started Bonzi before
Mm.
even Afrobeats LOL.
I see.
You know,
I
Oh, okay.
see.
yeah,
Okay.
but it was like it didn't take anything away from me because the whole idea of Bonzi was really just honestly, if I'm being honest with you guys, it was just gaining experiences on the job and bringing that experience back to Bonzi. And so it meant that I really had to put myself out there in all shapes and forms. And so even me taking that time off to finish Afrobeats LOL was a necessity for the completion of Bonzi. You know what I mean? It was something I had to finish to understand who I was and who I was becoming, and my when it comes to like production and my collaborative things and development of concepts and all those things. Yeah, and so when the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, this is it. This is the moment. This is the gods have now given me a moment to now chill and just like finish this thing that I've started, and just fix things around. I mean, Selim, we did a couple of things on the side, all
Yeah.
these things.
Yeah.
Like I was really getting my affairs together. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, Bonzi I was in no rush, you know, I was in no rush, and I knew that the approach that I was giving the music, the album, even if it took me 10 years, it wouldn't sound outdated. It would just sound different because I was not in contention with anything around me except for myself. And that's what we're hearing. That's like, that's it. So, yeah.
If you can expand on the meaning of Bonzi.
Bonzi. So, I mean, I was in quite in two minds. Well, I say two. I'm not, the people in my head are plenty and also outside, but I decided I was going to call it Bonzi during the lockdown. You know, I was, I was going to call it Mom actually, like, but like, as an initial, as a Mind of Mensa.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
But
Okay.
but I was like, okay, maybe not just this kind of narcissistic thing. So let me not call it Mind of Mensa. Let me call it Bonzi because because Bonzi is not actually my name. No, so yeah, I mean, I was having conversations, with Irene, and we were just like going back and forth, and I was just really thinking about. I was also having conversations with my dad prior to that, like, and my dad is somebody who lives his entire life, his entire like dogma is the etymology of things, like the origins of things. Like he's really into that. He feels like nothing is named for nothing, And so even
Right.
him, like when he hits 60, he changed his name from Tommy, which is Tommy, Thomas, to Tume, because he felt like he had to find something that connected with him and was an everyday reminder of what his purpose here is.
And to me, it's power, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes, the
Power.
willpower, you know,
Willpower to me,
you know.
right?
So it's like, It's something that's also stayed with me, and having conversations like names like Nefertiti, and it's like when you do your history and you find out that the account people came from Egypt and so on and so forth, and they'll tell you that there's similarities in language like Nefertiti and so on and so forth. Like all these things that like I'm constantly and Count Basie, which is like and like Count Basie is like an old jazz musician from the 1940s and so on and so forth. But if you Google him and you see, he looks just like my great grandfather, literally. But he was
Wow.
a African American jazz musician, and my dad is like, his name's it's
Wow.
Basie, you know,
Mm.
and Basie is also it's like that's my dad's like cousins and whatnot. So it's like he connects everything. He just connects all
Right,
the
right.
names. So I was like, okay, cool. So back to like me and Irena going back and forth, we were telling her what my name meant. Bonzie was like, okay, should we call it Speak Up? And I feel like Speak Up was a bit like too self-righteous and whatnot. And just like, and also for me being a Ghanaian artist, how do I present an album title that makes people want to dig deeper into the meaning of things rather than make it easy for outsiders, let's say non-Ghanaian people, just say speak up or speak was a let your voice be heard, or then I start sounding like a choir or something, like some king's choir, lift up your voice and be heard or whatnot, so I thought, okay, cool, if we're listening to hip-hop music and they're using words like yo is lit and on the street corner,
Right.
and you have to go and read something on the internet to find out what it means, a street corner, and then you are
Screw.
tapping, you know what I'm saying, you're tapping into other people's culture and
Yeah.
all the
Right.
time. So how do we get people to also
Tap into eyes.
ours, which is why we're big on pidgin English and using all the slang and whatnot, because then you enter our world for a change. This is what
Yeah.
changing the narrative is really all about, for
Mm.
me.
Mm.
And so, yeah, I thought Bonzi, and, we both agreed on it, and it just started ruminating on it. And then everything we did had that, as the foundation, So if you look at even the Kickstarter, the I Know the Bed series, all of that was just about people discovering their voices and really like just getting in touch with that inner voice that has something to say to set you free, really. You know what I mean? And so even during the lockdown when we did the I Know the Bed series, where we had people just asking people to tell us what kept them up at night and so on and so forth. People found that as a channel to really discover themselves and just like find their voice. Not to say that people don't, but it's like tapping into a subconscious that they wouldn't otherwise. So everything since the lockdown has been connected to where we are now, and it continues. Now that the album's coming, there's more things and then you in the long run you'll see the full picture, and it's like everything is connected in that sense. So yeah,
Right.
Bonzi.
Great.
That's
Great. 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 So, the first song on Bonze, "Carry Go."
yeah,
I think that just by the start of the rap, it answered so many questions that you know I would have loved to ask you,
right,
one on one. Yeah,
right,
just by saying that, for some time, rap the ball me.
yeah,
Like, I know the first time I got introduced to your music was when you and VVIP,
right.
yeah, did
If you
that
don't
song.
know,
If you don't know, yeah, if you don't know, I remember I was in junior high, form 2 or something, yeah,
wow,
and Andrews Mills came to class, was like, yo, there's this new kid, he did it, he was just going off. I was like, who's this new artist? And at home, I don't watch TV. Like, my opinion, they make I watch TV, so I need to look for moments and time and place to get some of the music and or watch and
and
stuff. And
catch
I
up.
finally,
Yeah,
yeah, finally caught up to the music, and that's when I fell in love with Mensa. And since then, I don't think at the time we had seen anything like what she brought, you know, and because of that, we feel like when we talk of rap music, like Mensa is supposed to be at a certain place, like Mensa, because we feel like you came with something that went mainstream and like nobody, if it inspires so many people, no, but I don't think anybody can top those moments, right? So it's like, when would Mensa give us that album? Like we feel like you can give us that rap album, but when you say at some point, then rap the ball me, also I feel it because sometimes as creatives, people don't understand that we also get uninspired sometimes. We go through depression, we
Mm,
go through issues, and it
mm,
affects the way we see things and create, and sometimes too, along the lines, we sort of find a purpose, in what we are doing. So certain things that we used to do, it's no more of interest, and so it answers a whole lot for me. But at the
right.
same time, I'm thinking, what actually could make rap the ball this amazing rapper, this amazing
Yeah.
writer? What actually could make rap ball
Everybody
you?
else's rap was boring me except for me now, man.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's like I think what you just said is it's a big chunk of the truth. And also, if I'm being literal with what for some time the rap started bore me, then I stopped the film, they do nothing for me. It was like I grew up like aspiring to be like the Yankee rappers and spitting bars and whatnot. And then I was spitting bars. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm spitting bars. I can go on the same stage with my favorite rapper. And I did, you know?
Mm,
And so I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm coming from a different angle. They're coming from a different place, but we can make this work. So, okay, that's one thing. Then, the industry, like Ghana is like, there was a lot of music going on and very little quality control, which is something
right.
that's when like my snobbish nature, for music comes into play.
Mm,
And I just really was looking for something else, It's just really about me looking for something else. Um what actually happened, once again, if I'm being literal, is that I really couldn't hear any rappers saying anything new, you know like I
right.
wanted something. And so for me, like, there's a few rappers who, when I listen to them, like, yeah, wow, this is great, because then they start going into like imaginative, like, or they like make believe worlds, and so they take me on a journey where it's like they start talking about things that I would never conjure in my brains unless I followed their lead, So they take me,
Right.
you know what I mean? And so
Right.
I liked when
Right.
rappers talked about like space or like intergalactical, whatever and whatnot, and just like take me on a journey, because rap mostly is about storytelling and just like creating universes in your brain. Um, but I just wasn't getting enough of that. But instrumentals actually started doing that for me. So I started buying instrumental versions of rap albums.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
So then I'll just be like, okay, I can imagine Busta Rhymes on this beat, even though this is a Lil Wayne beat. I wonder what Busta Rhymes would do. Then I start like imagining what Busta Rhymes would do on it, and start telling my own stories via Busta Rhymes or via whoever I was feeling. These are just two examples, but I just started like, so for me, instrumentals became the thing for me, because, and also because they're so repetitive, it becomes tantric. So I can start like going to like a meditative mode and just like really go to like a different space. So it was literally just lyricism just wasn't doing much for me, you know? And then through that, I started going like back into a lot of like jazz music, soul, experimental, electronic music, and so on and so forth. Just looking for different things that I could attach my skills to as an MC.
Mm-hmm.
So then say for some time the rap started bore me. Then I stop the film, they do nothing for me. They say, Mensa, where you go there, we see you chair, sack the money, can't reach, they see you here. It's like I just wasn't interested in that narrative anymore. The comparisons and this doing this and this. It's like, okay, these guys are doing what they're doing. They did in my space, but I need to find something else for myself, And here we are. I think I've been able to piece together small ideas to create an album, for you guys and for myself. But it really was just me
Love it.
just not wanting to hear rap on beats anymore. The beats were doing much more for me than lyricism, if I'm being literal with this, and perhaps helped me hone my skills as a producer as well, because I could hear intricately what was happening.
All right.
And I think, Carry You Go also has like the start of the themes that I felt throughout the whole album was, in Bisa and Eyes But No Eyes and Questions for the Gods was the sense of curiosity, like the need to ask questions and kind of challenge the status quo just a bit more fiercely.
Right.
What do you feel curious about nowadays? Like, is there anything that you have questions about that you just feel like are still unanswered, that you're still asking questions about? And is that correct?
Boy.
Is it that theme of curiosity? Because I really did feel like you were asking a lot on this
Yeah.
album.
Yeah. I mean, I do wonder, apart from like, I wonder if we are going to live to see, like, really, like the next 20 years, what humanity is going to be like. That's something I'm really interested in. Like, I feel like it's not even like, what you call it. It's not the climate situation. I just feel like we're just living in a very unsustainable way. Is that a word? Is that what you say?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like the
yeah.
way we are
That's
living is not
possible.
sustainable, So
Yeah.
if some kind of supply chain breaks down, where everything's just gonna like just
Right.
crumble. I really
Yeah.
think about that quite often.
Yeah.
But if I'm being honest with, like, and that's like on a like the global external level. But if I'm being introspective, really, I you guys know that I've been making music professionally for quite a while, only because I started when I was quite young. So now
Yeah.
my question is, what's next? What's next? Am I going to have the energy, the physical energy, to continue making albums, or am I going to want to venture into something else? I also really think about my kids and like what the next 10 years is, because then they'll be young adults, and I always wonder what my relationship with them is going to be like, and how like how they're gonna turn out when they discover themselves fully. Like, those are the things that I think about. And just, to be honest with you, like, I'm not that, yeah, man, I'm quite linear in these kind of things, man. Like, I'm not thinking about really, like, hey, it's like, because I'm seeing everything around me, and I'm, the older you become, you understand human nature and patterns and things like that. And so you just find your way or your position in life or in your community, and you play your part and you deal with people and so on and so forth. So I'm not worried too much about that, like, what's going to happen with my friends, my family, and all those kind of things. Like, I don't really think too much about, but it's about my curiosity is like, where is life going to lead me, and what's the next adventure? If I'm being honest, it's not, I know it doesn't sound profound or whatnot, but really it's just like, what's next? What's next? Where is it going to go?
I wasn't looking for like a profound answer. I think if that's how you're feeling, I think that is good enough. On Take My Losses, I felt like, I might be reading things into it, but I felt like there was a certain longing or a pursuit for something greater for yourself or for your peers. Like,
Right.
what do you see your legacy as? Like, what do you think you're going to be remembered for? Like, Mensa, who is Mensa to the people?
Telling me Nemo. I really don't know, man. Like, I was listening to another podcast that I shared with Irene, and it was yesterday. These guys, so basically, they were analyzing the album or doing a review or whatever, and they reviewed a couple of other songs from other artists. And when it came to me, it was like quite extensive. And the way they spoke of me, I was like, this is what they're going to remember me by, I guess, you know? And all these accolades and so on and so forth. And it really I was like, nah, accolades, I don't like accolades, you know? I really don't know. And I think for me, so what I'm trying to focus on, and I'll come back to this longing thing, is that I think what I'm going to focus on is really just how to become a better person for all the people who are good to me in my life. And I really I want to.
That's dope.
Yeah. I mean, I really because I've, like I was saying, listening to that podcast, okay, they're just going to be deep, but I just want somebody to say something, somebody who had a personal relationship with me, to say something that is like, wow, that guy knows how to fix broken chaliwates. If your chaliwate is broken, take it to him. He'll fix it for you, free of charge. That was the best thing about it. I want something
It's
that's
more
just
meaningful,
grounded.
like it's tangible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, I was speaking to my kid's mom the other day, and she says, "Oh, it's like the kids have you wrapped around their finger, and it's like when they're with me, and I don't do this." And it's like, dude, I'm pretty strict, and I'm quite, I do like discipline, and anybody who knows me around my kids, but I also want to be offensively kind to my kids. That if they want something and I have it, I'll make sure that they get it in abundance, because I want them to remember me as, my dad was an asshole, but he was kind. You know what I'm saying? It's
Where did the asshole come from?
Oh yeah, I'm an asshole to my kids, man. I really am. I prank them.
But that's balance though. That's balance.
They're kind of asshole.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, that's balance.
That makes me
I
sound
can do with balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just really it's about and also it's like I reached an age where you start telling yourself, I'm not taking shit from anybody. Can we swear on this? Can we cuss this a little bit?
Yes.
I'm not taking shit from anybody, and I really don't take shit from anybody. From nobody. Not my mom, not my dad, not my eldest brothers. No, people close to me, my work colleagues. I absolutely stop the nonsense. If I feel like this is crossing a line, I just stop it right there and then. But then there's also that can also turn you instantly into an asshole. That because you feel like, ooh, I'm in a position where it's not even a position, I'm in a place in my life where it's just I don't need any nonsense. Even when somebody's trying to check me on my bullshit, I take it as, hey, Charlie, don't bring your nonsense to me, and I'm going to stop you right there in your tracks, So it's also about just really being able to be effectively self-assessing. That makes sense?
Right.
Yes.
To be able to check myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that I know the difference between stopping the bullshit and also accepting that somebody's calling me out on my bullshit.
Yeah, but also stopping your own bullshit.
Yeah, and stopping my own bullshit. So these are things I think, it's and so if I'm able to achieve these little things, I become a better person for the people who I really care about around me, That's really what I've been going through. So I've been kind of withdrawing a little bit from a lot of people and just really ruminating on my methods and the way I do things, and just finding different ways of doing things and being authentic. I think, at the risk of sounding cliche or whatnot, it's about really being as authentic as possible. Yeah. So that people can say nice, regular things about me, regular, not, oh, the guy is this, he did. Actually, they called me a genius. It's like, hey, please, so I don't need this pressure. Oh. Don't be giving. Amongst my friends, I'm the dumbest motherfucker amongst my friends. Don't be calling me those. If you do that, then my brothers be calling. I don't know what's a genius now. Sorry.
Do you think that's why people have like stage names? Because your stage name is your name. Like even though it has the 3 in there, I think
that's
so.
the
When
problem.
somebody's talking about Mensa, it's like you.
It's the me.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe you should have like
change my name.
Yeah, change your name. If you were to
You should
change
have
your
kept
name,
it-
what would you?
You should have kept Uncle Shine.
Yeah,
Charlie, Uncle Shine.
Uncle Shine is really corny. Sorry.
It's just not. I don't know. Yeah. I can't think of.
I'm sure there's a
That's the
deeper
thing.
meaning, but
No, it's just. Do you know what? Like I have. Bless. I have cousins who are like a little bit older than me, like what, like 10, 15 years older than me, and they had kids when they were like 18, 19, which means that their kids were almost like my age. And then when I was in high school, everybody was calling me Shine. They were also like coming into high school, but they couldn't call me Shine, so they called me
Uncle Shine.
Uncle Shine. And then all my friends who came to the house, they see these little kids around the house going Uncle Shine, and that became. And then I told it, heads, if when Jem went away and I stopped calling me Uncle in front of my friends, then they started calling me Wafa B, which is like Wafa Bonzie. That's like, so if
Oh, okay.
so this Wafa B thing, and it's just like I don't know what I would call myself otherwise. And also I just feel like because one of my biggest things is like being as honest and as like just bare my soul on my music. Like, why would I call myself something else?
True.
You see what I'm saying?
True.
Like, this is me, It's me. Like, imagine like why is it that I guess so, but imagine if I worked in, once again, I'm using this bank reference. If I worked in a carpenter's shop, a carpenter's factory, imagine that every time I went there, I used a different name. Like, how's
True.
do you see? And I come home and it's like, but I guess in Ghana it's allowed though. A lot of Ghanaians like are called by their English or their Christian names at work, Benjamin,
Yeah.
and then you come home and their name is Obimpe or something like that. Yeah.
True.
Yeah, so
And
we
then
have
amongst their friends, there's another
have different
nickname.
names, yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess on the global level, like more people just your name, and for me, it's like this music is like it's my 9 to 5. So my name is my name, and that's it's I think yeah. But I can't imagine being called anything else. I'll think of it. Maybe I'll come
Think
up
of
with a
it,
new
think
name.
about it.
Yeah,
They're creative.
yeah.
Okay. So let me jump more into some of the songs on the album.
Yeah.
My favorite on the album is
Then it's definitely not your
the one-
favorite.
Is it
No, it's my
Bisa? Is
favorite.
Bisa? Is it?
No, it's not
Oh,
Bisa. It's with
mine is-
Gasmela.
Mokosane.
Moko Sane is my favorite, and I think it might also be for the fact that Mensa was singing in Ghana, and also he killed it. But also, I don't know, for some reason it gave me so much imagery listening to the song,
Right.
because I also grew up in a similar neighborhood as yours, Latabelko, Shisoko,
Right.
so it means we are around Banana in
Right.
Mamprobi.
Mamprobi areas,
So when somebody says Wayafimo Koshege,
yeah.
like it's like a whole movie.
Yeah.
It's like squad. We are organizing squad. We are going to someone's house.
Trouble, yeah.
It will start trouble. And the house is not going to sit down for you to just start trouble. It means that the whole house,
It's also
you know.
going to
So
retaliate.
yeah. So when I'm listening to the song and you're singing, what's Nim
Bilani,
uh,
what was it? Say it in English and I'll know which
yeah.
part
So
you-
when you went to the somebody's house to
right.
yeah, when you, after crashing the car,
Yes.
yeah, after crashing the car, you went to somebody's house to
Yeah. Yeah.
go and cause for there.
Cause trouble.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I just saw. I saw a whole lifestyle flash
Yeah.
before my eye. You know, if you've lived in
Yeah.
those neighborhoods,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that's one of my
No,
favorite
absolutely.
songs.
So Mokusani was just like me, just really going back like 20 years or even like in my childhood and just looking into like compound houses and all the Ghana
Yes,
families
yes,
I grew up around
yes.
and all the, I mean, okay, so I'll tell you something. So, okay, for those who don't understand, um, the song is like Minkebo Adole, Waye Moko Moko Sani. So it's like Adole is my girlfriend and she's stressing about another girl called Tele. Like, what's going on? I'm like, okay, look, I love you, but Tilly and I, we go back in a way that we're not, it's not a friendship. It's like, it's a whole lifestyle. It's a life together that we spend. It's not a romantic thing. And she was like one of the boys, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to, for me, like speaking Ga, I wanted it to be authentic and really, because I learned Ga as a kid. So I wanted, when I speak Ga, it takes me back to a certain era, you know, of my growing up. So I really wanted to have like my listeners also like, you know, come on that journey
Right,
with me. You know what I mean? Just to,
right.
you know, and I think that's what's really happened to you. So Adote is somebody who grew up with me in my neighborhood, and he started driving at a very early age, like around what, like 14, you know? And as soon
I need
as
people
he,
like that too.
yes, and as soon as he got his
People like
father's
that
car,
too.
my house was
Yeah.
the first place he would come to. No, what am I talking about? This is like even 12 or 13, you know? My house
Yeah.
would be the first place he'd come to, come and pick me up. Then we'd just be driving on the back roads, you know? And then when he got better, he stopped coming to my house and he was going all the way to Osu and things without me. That's cool. But I also learned to drive using his dad's car. The crazy thing is, I scratched his dad's car, you know, and when I scratched it, we all knew there was a scratch, but we didn't come out of the car to see what the scratch was. Is when he got home and his dad was like, "What do you have to take car?" And he had to take the rap for it because he'd be in more trouble if one, underage stealing a car, two, letting his friend drive the car. So I turned the story around and I was like, you know that day when Tele scratched my father's car, I took the rap for it. And then I was talking about Adute's father trying to harass Tele, like because she was growing, she was a teenager, and he kind of was like, you know, we went there and where I feel a shiggy, like, you know, you better stop giving Tele a hard time. So forth. I'm just talking about just you know, neighborhood things and it really, I really wanted, because you know I come also from a background of like storytelling with music, with Cause of Money, you know, 1 and 2 and all that stuff. So it's like storytelling is really important. It's really important to me. And then putting Gasmilla on there. First of all, when I sent him the song, I just wanted him to. A part of me was like, this guy, even though he's such a nice guy and he's said so many kind things about me, I just expect this guy to come and say, "Oh, Numu." He always calls me Numu. He'll say something like, "Oh, Numu, oh, ufane if busy feel no lala nebwe no next time." Just to say, you know, I can't do the song. I'm a little bit busy, but really what he's saying is like, your guy is bullshit. I'm not embarrassing. You know, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be a part of this. You're cool. Go and do your pigeon and your slangs, but leave the guy alone. And I was like, just do. So I was using Gasmilla as a, what's it called, like a litmus test, you know, so to speak. Like if he jumped on the song, I'd be like, yes, this song is good to go, because he's like, for me, he's like the most incredible Ghana rapper, you know, one of the you know, the few amazing Ghana rappers. So
he keeps proving it.
Yeah. I mean, the guy is like, and the crazy thing, like, I sent him the song, and I think the next day I was like on the train going somewhere. He had already sent me a recorded version, a mixed version, sent me the stem, the files for the song, and the raw version, so that if I wanted to do whatever I wanted to do with it, and on the 20 files, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be on a song with Gasmilla, and I'm singing in Ga, and he has not said a single thing about my, you know, my Ga. I still couldn't believe it. So I sent him a message saying, but what about my gown? What do you think? And he was like, what do you mean? It's perfect. It's like, are you sure? You know? But what he did, that bastard, Gasmila, was that the verse that he did, it took me, like, I had to listen to the song for like 2 weeks to fully understand what he was saying because it was so
you hear
layered.
something different. Yeah, it's so layered.
Right?
So,
Every
so
time
layered.
you listen to it, it's like, it's so layered. It's so layered. And he also tells a story, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. So you're trying to tell me that my guy is okay.
Okay.
But this is how it is done.
It's done.
Let me show you. Because he raps and he goes into song and then he just like, I mean, it's so beautiful what he does on there, but he really showed me who's who.
The cadence was incredible.
I mean,
the way he
just
changed
like,
flow.
yeah. I mean, it's like,
you know, the way he packs the words was very incredible. Yeah.
I mean, the guy is so like, you know, me because I'm coming from like a producer background, with mindset also is like when I hear him on different things, I know that he's so versatile. Like he's really gifted as an artist, you know, as a musician. And so I just knew that if I did a song like this with him, he would deliver and go beyond. And that's what he did. And he really showed me who is who on that track. But it's like, you know, this is what it's about. It's like if you're going to collaborate, find the person who's best at their craft, you know, and understands, you know, what you're trying to achieve. Yeah, I do like that song. I really do like that song.
Yeah,
I feel like I need to go back and listen because my
How's your
is very
guy?
basic. It's very basic. I went to 7th grade, so I sort of know.
Oh,
you
just
what?
around his neighborhood. Just
I
around the corner.
know. So I went to 3 different schools in Downsuman. Okay, so I went to Alpha Beta. I went to 7th grade. Yeah.
What?
And then I went to Dayspring. Dayspring is like a smaller school in the corner of the Downsuman markets. Yeah.
What?
So I
Control
went to
markets?
Control markets, behind control markets.
This is nonsense.
So I went to Alpha Beta first. I went to kindergarten, and then I went to high school for a bit, and then the school fees got ridiculous. And then
it became an international school.
It became ridiculous, and then my parents were like, "Okay, we'll take it to 7th grades." As a 7th grade school, and not the boarding part, just the day school. I was there for maybe a year and a half, and then I started. It was like my rebellious year, so my parents felt like 7th grade was the reason why.
Yeah.
So like, okay, let's move ahead from 7th grades, and then I went to Dayspring, and then from Dayspring I came here. So yeah, Downsuman is like my playing
You
ground.
kept that
like
quiet.
All of my friends, I'm in Downsuman maybe like 90% of the time when I'm in Ghana.
That is madness.
Yeah. So I speak like, I don't speak Ghana at all. I understand very basic. So Mokosane, like it went over my head, like massively went over my head.
Salom J will break it down for you. You know?
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like it's no, go ahead.
My grandma is gone, so
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Connects, and I mean, like when you're in Latvia, because she's so cool, Shukura. You know, you can't go without speaking.
You can't not learn Ghana.
Yeah, and you cannot not say you don't see drama every day.
I mean, that Radio Gold area, forget me.
Radio Gold. Yeah, and like you said, compound houses was, you know,
it's the way.
It's something you see all the time. Yeah, Charlie.
So so my favorite track is Bisa. I think it's what. So I discovered you. I think I've told you the story before, but I was doing an internship as part of my uni course, and there was a lady, I don't know if I can say her name on the podcast, maybe you can bleep it out, Salom. There's a lady that worked there called, I think she was managing you at the time. I don't know what she was doing. But she used to play your records in the office.
Yeah.
And then I got to know you guys, and then
Number One Mango Street
was out.
Okay.
And the One Mango Street. So like that's how I discovered you. So I think I like the fact that One Love was on there, but I also like this whole idea of curiosity and asking questions. And there's a line that you say, I don't remember what year you referenced, but you say you decided a long time ago that you would not lie to your kids, like playing back on this
Yeah.
idea of honesty. So I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you, what was the last lie you told your kids, and why did you tell it?
Yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, I don't lie to my kids. I have to say I don't like, like if they ask me, Dad, is this going to happen? Are we going to do this, or will you? Or if they ask me like things about religion, so on and so forth, and just serious things, I don't. I try and I try and be as mature to my kids as possible without losing them. Do you understand? Like losing them in the conversation. But I mean, like, they'll ask me things like, "Oh, Daddy, will you buy me this shoe?" Like my youngest has now been going on the internet, and she's been going on River Island to look for shoes, and then she'll email it to me.
Tell her to get ASOS. Get her to get the ASOS out.
But she's going to River Island. But the thing is that this is how I know she's a baby, right? Like after she's like, Dad, did you get my email? Yeah, I want those shoes from Riverside. And I know she means River. So I'm like, yeah, sure. If you can show me those shoes from Riverside, it has to be Riverside. And she goes back on the internet, she's looking for Riverside.
Side of the kindness, okay.
Yeah. So now she's looking for shoes from Riverside, and I know she means River Island.
I don't even think River Island exists anymore. Maybe it doesn't exist as shops, but maybe online.
I think online it does. Yeah.
Wow. That's so funny.
Yeah. I mean, I do procrastinate on like things, but I don't think if they ask me, I don't volunteer certain informations. But if I get asked, dear, that one I have to tell them the truth. Yeah, I have to. I owe it to myself and to them. And that line, what I said, was really about if I'm interested in my kids really knowing their identity and using that to seek their own truth and finding their place in this society that we're in. It starts with their idea of themselves and who their God is, and so and their mom is religious, and the way she practices religion it's a very healthy way. It's like people have their beliefs, and I respect it, and we have really interesting conversations when we are friends. But when they start talking to me about it, but they start talking to me about Jesus and things like that, and I have to be respectful. I have to say, well, your mom believes something different, and so on and so forth. But this is what I believe in. It's a choice. You just have to kind of just see these two sides, and then when you grow up, you can, decide which way you want to go, because spirituality is important. We all need something to latch onto and what we believe in, and so on and so forth. So, when I wrote these lyrics, which was like 2 years ago, my 8-year-old was not asking me about religion, and certain difficult questions. So it was easy for me to say, 2010, be when me I make decision, no lying to my kids and no fake religion, so on and so forth. But it's like I can't sit here and call a religion fake. There are fake aspects to like religions that have real meanings to people who I value and people whose intelligence I attest to, whose knowledge I respect and are also very religious, and I know they know something that I don't know, so I can't dismiss anybody's religion in that sense. You know what I mean? But it's just like the aspects on how people are abusing other people's faiths and their vulnerability, and and it's like that's what really I am fighting against. It's not about the authenticity of whatever you believe in is yours, and so that now this conversation about religion, and it's not as easy, Actually, it's easier for me to speak to my kids about sexuality and um, the concept of being non-binary and so on and so forth. It's easier for me to kind of talk about those things than speaking about religion. I feel like it's far more complex and nuanced, you know. And so we touch on it in a but generally I'm quite honest to my kids. I try to be as honest to my kids as possible. But if you make the mistake and you don't get your facts right and it works to my
Poor girl. I
to
just
my
want
benefit,
to. I just want
that
to
one
tell
there.
her that it's
Yeah.
real.
That one there, I'll leave
So she
I'll
can
leave it
get
to
all
her.
her shoes.
Yeah, you know, it's like there was a time when she didn't know currency very well, and she'll ask me for like Dad, I saw this thing and it's 30p, and I just like it's like okay, she means 30 pounds, and then I'll just take my 20 pence coin and 10 pence coin, I'll give it to her and be like, okay, here you are now, go, it's like just foolish things that I like, but generally I'm quite candid with my kids actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you spoke about religion because Esther wanted us to ask you this question.
Oh, essay.
So let me try and read her question. So she said for Ghanaian parents, it seems like one of their greatest fulfillment when it comes to raising children is to transmit their religion and values. And and to the contrary, a child who moves away from religion is often seen as disappointment or failure.
Yeah.
As a parent yourself, what's your relationship with religion or spirituality? Do you consider yourself religious? Do you make conscious efforts to raise your kids in a religious environment?
I don't consider myself a very spiritual person. I'm looking for my thing. My dad is very spiritual. My dad is Hindu. My mom is also very religious and spiritual. She's Christian, and a lot of my musical education has come from, my religious education, And so like I don't know if you know this, but I was like in a choir and I was playing piano in church and so on and so forth. And that's really that's really the foundation of how I put harmonies and melodies together. That's from spending so much time in the ashrams and at church, with musicians. But through the years, like I've kind of veered off and I discovered rap music, alcohol, harmless drugs and things like that. So it's like I know that God is like, hey, my guy,
I don't. I
so
don't.
so me
I
and him, we
think
haven't
that's
been cool.
okay.
We haven't been cool. Yeah. So I leave,
None of
but
those
if I'm talking
things
about my
are.
relationship, my relationship with my parents and like I have real conversations with my mom. Like say for instance, on my like when I turned 36, my mom sent me like a message. Like my mom always sends me brilliant, incredible messages. But on one birthday, she sent me a message saying like, oh, with the blood of God and this, and in Jesus that this. And I know that for her it was like she was really like sending me blessings. But then I said to her, look, man, I love you, mom, and you're my mother, and you're the reason why I'm here. But I cannot connect with this message. Like the way I'm feeling today, I really want you to tell me something personal. Like say something to me, something that I can hold on to. And so, bless her, my mom. It took her like 3 hours, and I know that in that time she went from "How dare you? I'm wishing you blessings in the name of God and so on and so forth." And this is what you can say to me to like, are you now are you the devil's reincarnate now? Like, I think she went through all the phases of all the shit that, an African parents would say to you. And then eventually she's like, it's his birthday. This is what he's asking from you. And I said to do this for me as a birthday present. So she came back and man, she said some of the most beautiful things to me, and I was like, Mom, this is what means something to me, it's like this is when God is manifesting, like so in that process I told her that I don't think I'm Christian. I don't think that I am, but not to offend you or anything, but I'm going through my own journey in life, and I'm discovering different things. And this is not to denounce or to nullify the importance of what you believe in and what you've raised me up to become. But and my dad says he's Hindu, but really what he is an old school hippie. You said my dad was like the same age as like the Beatles, and so when they all went to India, he also went there. He was at Woodstock, did all the experimental drugs and all those things. You know what I mean? And then he became Hindu and stayed that way. The good thing about it is that it makes him quite open-minded, and he does yoga. He's been doing yoga for over 50 years, so he's as fit as a fiddle.
Love it.
So there's that aspect of it, but also like the Hindu gods and the thing. It's nice fairy tales. I like them, but I can't apply them. I know I'm gonna get in trouble.
He said nice fairy tales.
So to answer your question, I respect religious people. I respect what spirituality means to people, and I know like you meet somebody who doesn't declare their spirituality, but that they're centered. That they believe in something, and they're guided, and they're in a space where it's almost like the spirit is strong, unshakable, and then no matter what's and I admire that, but I need to find my own thing, and I don't think maybe perhaps Christianity or whatever it is maybe right now that's not my thing, and because also like when I see what's happening in Ghana and how it's being misused and how people are being cheated out of their very livelihoods and opportunities and different kinds of educations and so on and so forth, it makes me very angry. The way we've blindly held on to a certain aspect of religion that does no good for us. It's difficult for me to just let it go in that sense. I guess, I don't know if that answers your question, but I think at the end of the day, we're all looking for a form of spirituality and like a higher, a connection with a higher force. I think we all are,
Right.
We've definitely taken you for more than the time that I promised you that we'll take you. So
okay.
I'm going to wrap
I've
up,
enjoyed
but
myself.
I have one question which leads into other questions, but they're very rapid, quick fire. And they're quick fire based on how you answer them, but they're based on questions for the gods.
Right.
So these are questions for the rap/producer god, Mensa.
That's me.
So
Okay.
That's you. That's you. So I'll go through them and answer them very quickly if you can. Because that's the point of rapid fire. What's the last thing you searched online?
Oh my God, David McDonald.
Who's that?
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and that was last night.
Okay.
Hold on a sec. I didn't shout obscenities. I was just like, shut up.
Okay. When it rains and the snails and the slugs come out, where are they going?
They're crossing the road.
They're crossing the road. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite smell?
My farts. I'm like, wow, this is a work of art. Work of fart. Is here the work of fart?
Love it. What's the right way to make coffee?
As strong as possible and no milk or sugar.
If you were to get abducted by aliens, what's the first thing you would do?
Please, give me 5 minutes. I want to pick up my laptop.
Okay.
Then we can go. Yeah. I'll definitely
What?
ask to go and grab something, my laptop or my drum machine.
Okay.
Drum machine, yeah.
Um,
Make music.
yeah. Hopefully that way they'll let you go.
Yeah, once they start hearing the music, I'm like, what is this? Return this guy.
What is the key to living a fulfilling life?
Boy, it's to pretend money doesn't mean anything to you, but work hard for money.
Wow. Wow. Clip that.
That's
Salam.
deep. Yeah.
If you could be a fly on the wall, who would you listen in on?
If I could be a fly on the wall, who would I listen in on? Piers Morgan.
That's
Piers
good.
Morgan.
I mean, because we know he's saying all types of N-words.
Yeah.
What is the worst song ever?
The worst song ever.
The worst song ever.
What could that be?
There is no such thing. It doesn't exist.
Ooh.
It doesn't exist. If you listen to anything
Why is
horrible
that?
enough, you start
like it.
liking it. Yeah.
Okay, right.
What is
Right.
the coolest sound?
The coolest sound is that coolest sound also doesn't mean that it's necessarily a good thing, but I love it when I can hear water dripping somewhere, you know, or maybe like even like rain from outside,
Oh my
until you
God.
find out that actually there's a leakage in your ceiling and that water is going straight into your printer. Does this sound a bit too?
Sounds a bit too close to home. Like
Yeah.
it's happened.
It's going straight straight into your printer.
I was gonna go into a whole spiel about the calm app and how I listen to rain sounds.
No,
but
no,
I
no,
guess
no.
not.
Yeah.
You can answer older or youngest on this one because we don't want to say their names. But which one of your daughters are you the most secretly scared of?
My eldest.
Your eldest.
When I tell her off, and she's growing really tall. She's here. She's only 10 and she's here. And I'm not short. I'm almost 6 foot. You know, she's
Yeah.
here. Sometimes when I tell her off, she looks at me like, do you want to kick my ass? I'm like, you better not. Yeah. But she's absolutely in love with me though.
Oh.
She's absolutely in love with me. My youngest though, I feel like will reach a point where she's like, Dad, I'm gonna teach you a lesson. So when we're kids, you used to fuck with me. Now I'll show you who's who. Yeah, and she would like because she's a prankster, you know, she's a real prankster. So I feel like absolutely. But my eldest is like sometimes when I like, and I feel like okay, she feels like okay, Dad, you're being unfair, but she's not gonna say. She's just gonna look at me like, I'm like, wanna fight? and then she's like, no. And I'm like, hey, this no dear.
The fact that she even answered the question is brave.
And she goes, no. And so I'm like, dude, you better apologize now. I start telling myself I should apologize to her for future things that can happen to me. I think, yeah.
I see. What secret conspiracy would you like to start?
Secret conspiracy. Gosh. No, I got nothing. I mean, like,
That's fine.
I'm already so scared of, like, I'm just living my life hoping that all the crazy things I hear are not true, you know?
Not true.
So it's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to add another one to my brain, you know? It's like, yeah.
Are you the type of person that reads conspiracy theories?
They seem to find me, you know?
It's your algorithm.
Yeah, it's the algorithm, I think, you know? I mean, I've tried to, you know, but it's also like, it's just like when I think about like what's going on in Ghana and how like if you like a lot of us don't really like that's the thing. It's like I can tell my mom something about some crazy shit that's going on in the government, you know, and I have proof. And because my mom is also like, she's old and she's not so tuned into like too much of the deep politics, in her mind she's like, this is just a conspiracy theory, you know. And I can imagine what that feels like to her. It's like, are these people this wicked to be kind of doing this shit to us? You know what I mean? So it's like, when I think about like what's like, say for instance, like the US and all these super countries, like what kind of weapons they've got like underneath the bunkers and so on and so forth. Like, I'm just like, please let this be like just a conspiracy theory, like where the robots have reached now, what they're doing and shit like that. It's like, you know, I don't know if I'm making sense, but I'd much rather not have any more conspiracy theories in my life. It's too
That's
much.
fair enough. That's fair enough. Toilet paper, over or under?
Depends if you have a cat. Now you want to ask me, do you have a cat?
I do
That's
not
my
have
question.
a cat. I mean, I have a cat,
Yeah.
but I do not have a cat.
Yes. So if you do it over,
What are
and
we
you have
talking about now?
you know when you're putting the toilet paper on the thing, the real thing.
Yeah.
It's either like, does it over or is it under? Like, do you pull from under?
Under.
Yes.
Yeah.
If it's over, when you have a cat, you're screwed.
Really? I
Right.
thought
Yeah,
it would be
because they
more the
can
other way
Yeah,
around.
because they roll it down.
Yeah, they can claw it down and just
But do you have a cat?
no. But this
You
is
don't
the
seem
kind
like
of
a
things
pet person.
I absolutely hate cats. Absolutely. Unless it's
Why
in
is
my
it because
soup.
of like your guardian in a soup?
Yeah.
Who's cooking cats?
Joseph and Fufu.
Yeah.
Sit there. Sit there and see who's cooking cats.
We eat cats.
I can even show you. I can show you two ways
Joseph.
of catching a cat. Cool one. Shall I give you just one?
Next time you're in Ghana, ask for Joseph.
Yeah, ask for
Say you want
Joseph.
to eat Joseph.
Yeah.
No.
You know, I mean, I still haven't eaten cats, but I feel like when you own a cat, the cat owns you. I know people say this, but I don't want a pet that owns me and decides when it's going to show me affection after I pay so much money to keep. It's like, no.
They're very cute though.
Yeah, they can be. Yeah, they stink though. My brother's cat's in his house, and it's like,
The poop and the pee stinks a
it's
lot.
quite bad.
I think people who have pets don't know what normal houses smell like.
Yeah, like they lose a sense. They lose a sense.
They
of what
lose
normal
their
house
sense of
smells like.
smells. Yeah.
Yeah, my brother has an absolutely lovely home, and he's given up one of his living rooms for his two cats. And I'm just like, what? This is witchcraft. They've put some those cats. They put something in your eyes and you can't see. They've done something to you. Yeah.
We have a section called Put Me On, where we just sign off by you putting it onto something that you are watching or something that you think you want to share
Yes.
or listen to. Yeah, So what can you put us on?
Hold on. I'm trying to find the name. I want to be.
Should I share mine while he looks for his?
Sure.
Everyone go watch Dune.
June.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
I
that's
think Dune.
June. Okay.
It's a film based on a book. I mean, the first film, there isn't much to explain. I feel like you have to watch it. I don't want to give too much of it away. But it's with Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Oscar Isaacs. It's like big, legendary studios productions. Very good film. Go watch it.
Yeah. I mean,
Where can we find it?
I
Is it on
read Dune
Netflix?
as a kid,
No.
so
Okay.
Oh, you read it?
yeah.
Have you watched?
Yeah.
But did you watch it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
And, my oldest brothers who put me on it have gone and seen it, and they swear by it. It's like,
Yes.
it's incredible.
So everyone I know who's read the book actually likes the
It's
film,
like,
which is very
it was
rare.
like, yeah. I was literally speaking to my older cousin about it today, and he swears by it, and he's like a film critic, like extraordinary.
Yeah.
I'm going to recommend something. I put quite a few people. I put Irena on it, I think, and it's called The Midnight Gospel. It's an animation. Yes, Midnight Gospel. It's an animation on Netflix.
Okay.
And I know that there's no way the makers of this TV show are not doing some kind of psychedelic drugs to be able to achieve this level of free thinking, you know?
Okay.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I've never seen
Okay.
anything like it, you know? And it just leaves you feeling like, nah, man, there's more. There's more to this brain that I'm using, you know?
Okay.
But then you finish and then you're like, but what is this more? Because this doesn't, none of this makes sense, you know?
Let's all do drugs. I think that's
It's like you've got to be like, you know, yeah, it's insane. And I think you absolutely love it. And it's so like, it's whatever mood you're in, if you settle down to watch it, it brings you to this calm, you know what I mean? Like it's really well curated, so to speak, and like put together in terms of like music and just the conversation and the dialogue. It's like, what is going on here? And why is it that I can't stop watching it? For me, anyway. I think you should try it. You should try it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're good with the recommendations though.
Yeah,
Everything
yeah.
every TV show you've recommended me so far has been
That's
pretty
right.
dope.
Yeah. Through the years, right? It's like, it's been. What was the one that you were quite that you was like, nah, I don't think so, and I was like, what is
Oh, the amazing Mrs. Maisel. I haven't done it. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's why. That's why
That's
I
why?
deleted the number.
Excuse you. I'll text you right after this.
yeah.
Make sure you have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, it's something that I watched recently. It's a bit intense, but I really like the Maid on Netflix.
Okay.
So it was about
Go on.
it was about home violence, but they didn't treat it as like physical violence. It was more of looking at home violence, domestic violence through emotional abuse.
Right, so it's like a psychological.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Very, very psychological, and and basically, also the movie gives statistics to the number of people that go through it, and I think if I say more, I'll give too much out. So
The Maid,
is
yeah?
something.
Okay.
Yeah, The Maid on Netflix. Yeah.
Okay.
This has been This House Is Not For Sale, your podcast of conversations around African hip hop. It's been your host Salam J, co-host Hevzi, and our guests Bonzie.
Yes, with a new album called
Yeah.
Mensa.
A new album called Mensa. We hope you enjoyed the podcast just as we enjoyed it.
Thank you.
See you on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.
What we doing? It's the new movement.